Hello again, everyone. Today I am here to fill my TWSBI Diamond 580 Prussian Blue. I will go ahead and put a link below to the unboxing video for this pen. I searched all over the place in my ink collection for an appropriate ink, and I have settled on the Organic Studios Aldous Huxley. It has a really pretty color that I think will match. I'm going to go ahead and get out my ink sample book and show you. So here is my sample page. It's not an exact match, but I think it's pretty darn close. It might be leaning a little bit more green, but it's as close as I have to something that would match this pen in my ink collection. So I'm going to go ahead and put this book aside, and we'll open up the ink and get going. And I have a little testing notebook off to the side once it's filled to test it out. So I'm just going to rock this ink back and forth a little bit to get rid of any settlement that may have happened in the bottle. And you don't want to shake a bottle vigorously because then you'll create bubbles in the ink, and that'll make it a little bit harder to fill. Well, it won't make it harder to fill, but you'll have a bunch of bubbles in your ink in your fountain pen. I generally do that for shimmering inks though, because it settles so fast. So it's kind of a give and take, you know, bubbles in the ink versus the shimmer settling all down to the bottom. But this is not a shimmer ink, but it should have quite a bit of sheen. We'll see. This is a fine nib, so it may not show a lot of the sheen. So I chose a fine nib for this 580 because I didn't have a fine in the 580 in my collection. I do have a fine on a TWSBI Eco, which I wasn't that fond of. I thought it was a little dry. It felt a little dry and a little too thin of a line for me. But I know that the 580 nibs run a little bit wider in how they write than the Eco. So we'll see. And like I said in my unboxing video, if I don't end up liking it, I do have a broad nib or a bold nib that I can swap it out with. So let's see. All right, so as per usual, I have a little napkin off to the side. I really need to bring my cloth cleaning, my little cloth cleaner that I use to clean off my nibs upstairs. I film upstairs, and then I have a lot of my art supplies in my basement. So that's where that cloth is living, and I should just bring it up here. But I keep forgetting. So I just have a tissue off to the side today. All right, and this is a very seriously pigmented ink. Oh, and that's interesting. It's almost developed like a little film on the top of this cap here. Organic Studios are all pretty pigmented. Okay, so in order to fill this up, I need to put that piston fill thing all the way down, and then I am going to pump it in and out a few times. So I'm putting the fountain pen in just below the nib in the ink, and then I am going to pump in, and there's a little bit of space still at the top, so I'm going to pump out and then pump in again. There's still a little space. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, that's a little bit better. There's still a space, but I am going to let that be. So there we go. And one of the things that I like about the 580 versus the Eco is that it doesn't allow ink to seep into this little area here up at the top because it has a covered section there. Okay, I think, you know, I always get ink in weird places, so I like to make sure I've gotten it all. Let's see, I think that just based on what's on the napkin, that's a pretty good fit for this pen. All right, I'm definitely going to close that up real quick. And there's actually some little bits of ink that had dried in the cap there. Let me get all that out of the way there. All right, so I have talked before about how I like to post my Diamond 580s. I know that their company, the TWSBI company, says, well, they say that this is not postable, but you can post it, and it is pretty secure when it's posted on there. It's not going to scratch the end of your pen or anything like that. I think they say that it's not postable because if you have this on here, you could turn the piston while you have it on there, but I have never had an issue with that. It also makes for a very long pen, and I have a pretty small hand, so you know, it's really up to personal preference. I do this because I know I'm prone to losing caps, so, and I don't want to lose them. All right, so let's go ahead and looks like I have something under there, but that's okay. Actually, let's go ahead and do this on the same page as my Pelican. I'll do it up here on the top. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the writing. And I'm going to do just block writing today. I'm not going to do cursive. Let's see. So this is the TWSBI. Diamond 580 in ALR in the Prussian Blue. Okay, and then this ink is Organic Studios. Organic Studios. I never know. Organic Studios. Aldous Huxley. Okay, so let's see. I think that this nib feels a little dry and fine for my liking. Yet again, I may end up changing it out for the bold nib that I have. But I don't know. I'll write with it for a little while. I think this is a fairly wet ink, so I think it'll be fine. Well, you can see the sheen. Here, I'm going to go ahead and cap this up, and then I will show you. You can see the sheen when you move it from side to side. So it's still showing off the ink pretty well, I think. Oh, and I should make a note here that this is the fine nib. Okay, and I will put that up here again so you can kind of see. It's a really beautiful color ink, and it almost seems a shame to have it in such a fine nib, but like I said, I'll try it out and see how I feel about it. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Here, I'll put that there so you just have the Diamond 580 and the writing for that. All right. So that's it for today. Feel free to like and or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.